Alright, so the purpose I'm making this video is because I went through something. I went through something which I should not have. Maybe I should, I don't know whether this is a standard procedure that these guys do, but I'm definitely sure this video is going to help you. So, I went to the US in February of this year, that's 2018, and as soon as I landed, you get off the aircraft and you move on to immigrations. Now, when I reached immigrations, the immigration officer took my passport, looked at it. He asked me what I did, so I told him what I do. I'm a photographer. Then he asked me how many dollars are you carrying. So I told him how many dollars I was carrying, and then he asked me. He just looked at the passport. He looked at me, and then he's like, "No, come with me." So he left the immigration booth and he took me into a room. Now this happened at New Jersey airport. So I went into the room. I followed him. It was like this big. It was a big room with a lot of chairs, like a waiting area, and there was a small little. There were different cubicles towards the left side. Yeah. So if I was sitting in the room like this, in front of me there were visa officers. To my left there were cubicles, like basically like interrogation rooms. So I sat there and I was waiting. I had my bag, my stroller with me. About after 10 minutes, I asked a visa officer who was there. I said, "Can you tell me why am I here? Can you tell me what's wrong?" And the guy was pretty rude. He just said no, and don't ask questions. Just wait for some time. Someone will be with you. So I waited. I think about 20 minutes in that lounge type place. And 20 minutes later, then a visa officer came through the door. He picked up my documents. Of course, my passport was not with me. It was with them at their desk or whatever. So he picked up my documents and he had a paper with him. And he called me into one of the interrogation rooms. So I sat in the interrogation room with him, and then he started asking me, why am I visiting? I said, I'm going to visit Rohini. And then he asked me, what do you do? And a lot of personal questions. And then, this interrogation was crazy. The amount of questions this guy asked me was ridiculous, and the types of questions too. It was something that really blew my mind. Okay, so if my memory serves me correct, the first question this guy asked me was, where do you stay? Write down your address. So he kept a piece of paper in front of me. He gave me a pen, and he's like, write down your address. So I wrote down my address. Then he said, write down all the people who are in your house. I wrote down the names, my mom and my servant who's been with me for like 20 years, whatever. Then he wanted to know my mom's email address. He wanted to know my mom's phone number. He wanted to know the residence number. He wanted to know my mom's age, what my mom did. He wanted to know if my servant had any contact. He wanted to know how old she was. Wanted to know how old my mom is. Asked me if I've got a car. I said yes. Then he took down my Instagram account. He asked me if I was on social media, so I am on Instagram, YouTube. I even told him I have a YouTube channel, which he can go and check. Apart from that, he told, so basically he asked me to have my phone with me. So I did. I took my phone out, kept it on the table. He said, switch it on. So I switched the phone on. He went to settings and he went to about. And he took down my IMEI number and some other version, and I don't know, he took down that information. Then he asked me, am I on WhatsApp? And he asked me this, that, and literally, oh yeah, he took my license number, my driving license number. He asked me if I have a credit card. He asked me if I ever rented a car in the US. He asked me, okay, so the person you're going to meet is in New Bedford and you are in New Jersey, so how are you going to get there? So I said, I have a connecting flight. And my flight is in an hour's time. He's like, okay, show me that ticket. He's like, show me your return ticket. Which all countries have you been to in the past? And all these kind of questions, it was like a proper interrogation. Okay, so then all that happened, and then I finally asked him, so what's the guarantee the next time I land in the US, there's not going to be a problem like this? Because I don't want to waste time, and if I have a transit flight, then I'm going to be, I'm going to face a lot of problems. Finally, he said, I can't guarantee you that, but it happens. And I even told him that the last time when I came to the US in 2017, I landed in New York, which is a much more stricter port of entry. And he's like, yeah, well, but think of this as a lottery, and you're the lucky one we picked. The guy who was interviewing me did not seem that intimidating. He was nice, he was polite, but I didn't like the question. I didn't like the fact that he took my phone and he went and he actually wrote down my IMEI number and stuff like that, which means obviously they're going to track me. That's fine. I don't care. I didn't go there to do I didn't go there for any nonsense, and I'm back in my home country within the given period of time. So it didn't bother me, and I don't think it should bother you guys. But I just thought I'd give you a little update about how it was for me, and I hope it doesn't happen to you, because trust me, if you do get pulled out, catch 1.5 hour of your time is gone, and if you have a connecting flight, then that's going to be a problem. One thing that really like completely blew my mind, and when the guy asked me this question, I was like, I'm sorry, what? So in the piece of paper that he got along with him, apparently this guy had my whole history. So he asked me, why were you rejected before this? I was like, firstly, I wasn't expecting that question. But then I said the truth. I said, because the visa officer did not find me eligible. Now, he paused for a minute and then he was like, okay, alright. So then he also asked me, have you rented a car over here? I said no, but I do plan on doing it. So this whole thing was, from what I understand, is basically to get like a data bank of me, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know why I was put through it. Probably they handpick one once in a while. I mean, it's a standard operating procedure. I have nothing against it, but I would definitely suggest to you guys that, if you have a connecting flight from your point of entry, if you've got a connecting flight, don't take a flight which involves you to travel in the next 1.5 to 2 hours. Keep in mind that waiting room. Now, so I was one of the first people to get out of that aircraft. Okay. Imagine there were probably, I think, 300 people on my flight. And out of 300 people, even if they picked like 30 to 40 people, imagine 30 to 40 people sitting in that waiting room waiting to be interrogated. Imagine how long that's going to take. Lucky for me, I was the only one at that point of time. I went in for interrogation. I got out. As I walked out, 5 people were brought in. So imagine that. So please plan way in advance. Keep a huge gap of at least 4 hours between your next connecting flight. I think that's all I have to say. I would definitely appreciate it if you guys write down in the comments what you guys thought of. If any of you have had this experience or faced this experience, share it down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. And please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.